Morning or good day to everyone. We'll get started in just a moment here and do some Pilates and strength today. Please have some weights available for yourself and a chair. I have to grab my chair. Know what I'm reminding everyone. That flat chair, if you've got one, um, or a bench works. And let's get it so you can actually see me here. We'll do that and that. All right. Good morning or good day, whatever time it is for you. So I'm going to have that chair available. I'm going to have my weights here available, and we will get started. Check on my time here and make sure I've got a good idea of the time that we get in our full practice here. Okay. Yeah, that should be perfect. All right. Well, I'd like to start down on the mat. So let's go ahead and come down there. The weights off to the side, a little bit off the mat. Come on down. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale out. In and out. And bringing your hands behind the head here, settling in, just noticing the body and bringing those elbows up just to that midway point, right? If we're too far out with them, tend to fight ourselves. And yeah, looking around the room, a lot of times I'll see not quite enough lift there. They're still kind of out here, um, not really helping us as much. If we bring them in, we can actually kind of lead with those elbows. So lifting the head to hover and then leading with the elbows. Not so much that I'll bring my chin toward my chest. Head is still heavy in the hands. I'm going to lead with the elbows. Reach those elbows up at that diagonal that they're at and hold here. Taking a breath in and out and in and out. And one more breath up here and out, and slowly coming back. Working on that mini crunch. Maybe the elbows rest out. And maybe you explore where are the elbows here and how can they be of more help to me. Lift the head to hover, just literally hovering. So we can sense that we're not going to lift up with our head, with our chin, finding your way up. Let's bring the knees over the hips here. That really helps me not kind of roll up with my tail to have my knees over my hips because I can then have that counterweight a little bit. Keep reaching up though with the elbows. Keep pulling the ribs down and in. Breath and breath. And putting legs down and lower back. Softening the jaw. Noticing how this core work is settling into the body, maybe even into the mind a little bit. Elbows coming in. Exhale. Up we go. Knees over the hips. This time, let's let the feet lift up a little bit. Maybe if you want to, you bring one hand alongside the body. Pause, reaching. Notice how reaching with the fingertips so that arm is fairly active. Reach. Broad but active, like I'm not reaching right near the body or pulling the shoulder too much. Hand back behind the head. Bring the feet down, lower back. Relax. Notice the effect on the mind already, just giving us a focus of working hard with the abdominals. This is the chakra for our willpower. That's so nice to work with that. So I'm going to come up one more time. Elbows reaching up, knees coming up, feet. Let's connect the heels. Let's soften the knees a little bit. Pull the knees in toward you. Reach out, reach to the toes. Come in, reach to the toes. Come in, reach through the toes. Keep that upper body up. I'm not coming in as far as I can with the knees, just a little bend to start warming up joints. Reach, pull the toes back this time. Pause, reach, reach through the toes, wiggle them, pull, and reach. Good. Bring the feet down, upper body back. Whew. Bring the arms out to the side. Very nice. I'm gonna tuck the shoulder blades in just a little bit. Feels nice to open the chest that way. And then let's bring the both legs up, knees over the hips. And notice what the angle of your knee is. Notice how high your shins are. Let the shins drip down to start. Let the knees be as closed as they can. And then tap both feet, both knees moving away from the rib cage. Tap. Good. Let's lift the shins a little bit. Tapping a little further away, coming back. This whole leg unit is moving as one. I'm not moving my knees. Shins aren't moving. I'm moving from my hip joints to bring the femur out, to bring the femur back in, to bring the femur out, femurs back in. Femurs out means it ends up being the whole leg, but we're thinking mostly right of that uh, hip crease here, the, almost the groin. Using the belly to do this work. If you want, you could lift the feet up one more notch. Reach out. Let's do 3, 2, and 1. Good. Bring the legs in. That probably will feel really nice. If some of your work didn't happen in the belly, sometimes it goes into the back a little bit. So giving that back a little break. Great. Bringing the feet to the floor. And I think I'm going to take off my socks just to have a little more um, tactile sense of the mat and a little less slippery feeling, since I'm on a cloth mat here. So, feeling the feet, and again, if your shoulder blades kind of popped out or your shoulders came forward, let's go ahead and tuck each shoulder blade underneath a little bit. Doesn't have to be extreme, just a little. And then feeling the feet right where they landed generally is kind of your default. We can start from there. And we're going to push down with the feet to lift the pelvis into bridge. And as you come up into that bridge pose, letting your chin come towards your chest. If there's any pose where we're going to do that, it'll be here. And just notice how much you're using your glutes right now. Can you tell? Maybe bring your hands there. Maybe just you notice around your tail. And can you use your glutes a little bit less? And then slowly coming down. And relaxing all the way through the glutes and the tail. And then we're going to feel the feet again. Lengthen the back of the neck, pressing down to lift up. And maybe coming up a little less high than you normally would. Come down a little bit from where you were. And from here, I want you to think about if you could keep your feet glued to the floor here, but pull with your heels toward your seat or toward your low back, giving those hamstrings a little more work here, a little more wake up. Heels toward me, even though I'm not going to crawl them back, they're not going to pick up. Can I do a little bit of a pull, even a little bit of a pulse, right? A little bit of a rock of the body pulling the heels toward myself. And again, I'm not up as high as I can go. And then just hold here. Those heels pulling toward you. And then you could see about lifting up. So I'm still using hamstrings, but I know, or still using glutes, but I know I'm using my hamstrings a lot more with that. Slowly let go of that effort and let the back find its way to the floor. Let the pelvis unravel there. Sometimes especially when we come into bridge pose, we want to pull everything up in the tail area. All right. One more like that. Let's roll this time, bringing the low back to the floor. Belly button comes in. Push down through the feet, slowly feeling the spine press down, and then lift to come up into your bridge position. And again, notice, can we let go a little in the glutes to feel a little more work with the hamstrings? Maybe you're doing a little bit of that pull. Maybe that worked for you. Maybe it wasn't quite the right uh, thought. Just noticing if those hamstrings are maybe talking to you a little bit more, saying hello, and coming back down. Feel the spine reach the floor here. Good. We're going to bring one leg in and just let it rest here. You probably won't need to use your arm there, but if you needed to, you could bring a hand to the back of the leg and support it a little bit. And we're going to bring your other foot in toward your seat a little bit closer. That generally is the accommodation we make, or and we're going to then push the hips up and back down. Push up and back down. And how far you go, that doesn't really matter. Push and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Good. 3 left. 3, 2, 1. Good. Bring the legs down. Bring that other leg in to rest here. Maybe you're holding on someplace. Maybe that leg just kind of finds its spot. This other foot might come a little more center. It might come a little bit closer to you. You'll find just the right spot. Push and down, up and down with the hips. 3, 2, 1. Good. And down we come. All right. How'd that go? Let's take one of those legs, stretch it up, toe, heel, toe, holding onto the back. Toe, heel, toe, toe, heel, toe. Good. Bend the knee, bring it back up. Let's keep the foot in a pointed position. A couple of times here, up. Feels so good to articulate the foot. Heel up. Keep that heel reaching as you bend your knee. Good. Bend that leg, bring the other one up. We did toe, heel, toe, toe, heel, toe, toe, heel, toe. Good. Bend, keep the foot pointed as you go through bending and straightening the leg. And then keep the heel flexed. Heel, foot flexed, heel reaching, up, heel still, up, heel, up. And I don't know about you, but I need to drink some more water. And also, I've been doing some fun activities that probably, I'm not doing yoga all the time. So I'm probably just needing to feel some of that fascia, get some movement, get some stretch. All right, coming up to seated. from there. And check on our time. Perfect. So we're going to bring the feet in. We're going to get that nice, broad, open feeling by grabbing on behind the legs, but also the elbows really, we're going to get that wide. Um, I always feel like maybe like thinking like if my arms were a basketball hoop, right? If my chest is the backboard, how do I make that hoop with my arms maybe? And so we're going to sit back behind the sitting bones. We're going to pull the belly back and have the arms fairly active here. Head is reaching up still. We're not collapsing downward to make this to pull back in the belly. We still want to have some lift in the chest, some lift with the head. I'm going to bring the feet in just right spot so I can do some balancing here. One foot up and back down. Everything else nice and steady. Other foot up. Alternating. Pause. 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 Coming up with both. Pausing here. Nice balance, but with this rounded spine, right? We could be up nice and tall as well. Some of us will notice maybe a little more like of a yoga type position. Let's keep that C spine pulling back because we're going to need that in a moment. And we're going to bring the feet down. Go ahead and stretch them out in front. Maybe you want to fold forward. If you're folding forward and there's a lot of tug on the back line of the body, the hamstrings or the calves, you could always pop the knees up a little bit and just enjoy a little more of this release of coming forward. But we are going to continue on. We're going to come up and we're going to come back to that C spine position. And I'm going to start with my arms right here, kind of closer to my seat, but still on my body so I can have some balance help there. Arms are still going out to the sides, belly still pulling back. And I'm going to reach out with one foot, toe, heel, toe, come back in. Glide along the floor, along your mat, toe, heel, toe, coming back. Toe, heel, toe, slide back. Toe, heel, toe, slide back. Good. Toe, heel, toe, back. Toe, heel, toe, come back. Let's see if we can do that one more time each side. Toe, heel, toe, and back. Continuing to have that C spine, really working with my belly to balance everything here. Trying to keep it out of the hip flexors. Go ahead and come up. If the hip flexors were working there, maybe it feels good to take your legs out a little bit, take the heels in, coming forward to reach a little bit there. Good. I want to do one more like that I haven't done in a while myself, which means I haven't taught it in a while either. What happens if we bring the hands down here? So I want to press the hands down. I'm almost pushing myself away. You can maybe see that. I'm going to push down, have some real good contact with the floor. That helps me push myself right into that C spine. Belly pulling back, head not trying not to fall forward, right with it. So I'm going to find that nice spot where I'm still feeling that the whole core is working, whole belly is pulling in. And then I'm going to reach out, toe, heel, toe, pull back. Reach out, toe, heel, toe, come back. Toe, heel, toe. Really reach toe, heel, toe. Make that worth your time. Toe, heel, toe. Toe, heel, toe. All right, can we do both? Toe, heels, toes. Pull back. Whew. Toes, heels, toes. You can keep it on the floor. Toes, heels, toes. Pull back. Good. And coming forward. So a little bit of what Pilates on the reformer would look like, right? Taking a little bit of things out of um, the mat things there. All right, up to our feet. Have your weights nearby, but not we don't need them quite yet. And we're going to work with our feet some more. So it's been nice. We've been already working with the feet. We're going to need to do that with where we're going in the practice today in our strength work. I'm just going to check on my lighting here. If I've got yep, got as much as I've got. All right. So feet, heels together, Pilates feet. And then take a nice deep breath and just see how this work is settling for you. Got a little over 15 minutes in. Notice how much just 5, 7, 10 minutes can do for the body, the mind. We're really connecting in. So I'm just taking the knees nice and softly in the direction of my toes. We want that to be part of our theme today. And we're really working with the ankles, right? So ankles, having some mobility in the ankles is going to be helpful. We're going to want stability in the knees. We're going to want mobility in the hips. We're going to take those hips down and come back up, down and come back up. So if we went mobility, stability, mobility, what are we going to do with our low back? Stability, right? So we want to be stable, and all this core work we just did, hopefully helping to keep that low back nice and stable. Go ahead and come down and pause. See if we can lift the heels and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower. Let's go lift, straighten the knees, bend the knees. Don't have to go as deeply. Straighten, keep those heels up and bend. If you need to have your hand on that chair or fingertips at the wall, do so. You hear my ankles? Hopefully the microphone didn't pick that up. Good. And then coming down. Good. Bring your feet to parallel or maybe just outside the hips because really the hip joints are right here. So if I was really underneath my hips, I'd be probably here. You're going to be a little bit wider than that. And I'm going to take the feet again, shins forward, shins forward. I'll bring mine a little bit closer, see how that feels. Shins forward, shins forward. Good. I'm going to try something. Take one foot out, straighten through the knee, bend, straighten through the knee, bend, straighten, bend, straighten. Bring the foot back. I'm going to do a little balance again. Hand can be at the chair. Out, bend, out, bend, out, bend. Good. Bringing the feet back under you, back to parallel. Let's see how those squats feel. Good. All right. I'm going to hang on to the chair. So I'm not going to be able to put all my weight on it. So if I go this way, I'm still just using it as a guide to see, to give me a little more stability. Again, my fingertips at the wall could work. This direction can work. Down. So if we get wider with the feet, it's going to be harder to keep the feet in parallel, right? Because as soon as we take the feet wide, we tend to rotate our femurs out. And we want to keep our knees, shins, shoelaces, toes, right? In that great alignment. So we're going to do some different alignment with our squats today. But no matter what we're doing, we want to have our shins, knees, shins, shoelaces, right? All right. My shoelaces aren't here. I'm going to use this chair, and if you have a surface you can use, whatever you've got around. This just happens to be the height I have, which is a pretty decent height for me. If I wanted to challenge myself, I would start getting surfaces that were lower and lower. Maybe we'll do that next week if we continue with more squatting. Um, we'll see. So we're in the next, I guess it's not really next week, in the next program, whatever I decide to do next. So I'm going to come down to that chair, pause, come back up, chair, pause, come back up. Oh, there's a couple of ways we can work here. Kind of kiss the chair or just lightly come down and back up. We could also come all the way down, sit, come back up to where we normally would be sitting in a chair, and then go through the entire motion of coming forward, pushing down to come up, right? We transfer the weight down, come all the way upright. When we get out of a chair, we're going to lean forward, transfer the weight, and come up. Tap and back up, tap and back up, sitting all the way down, transferring, coming up, sitting all the way down, and back up. Good. Two more, and up, and down, and up. Good. Grab your weights. Let's work on some biceps. Good. Feet underneath you or a little wide. And we're just going to start right in on those biceps, get in some of the upper body, even though we're primarily going to work with the lower body here in some squats. We don't want to miss out on some upper body opportunities. This one doesn't come along all the time for me. So whenever I can, I try to squeeze in some bicep curls. Here we go. 5, slowly lower. 4, slowly lower. 3, 2, 1. Good. At your side body, we're going to come up and overhead, down the side body, up and overhead, and down the side body. Now, depending on how heavy your weights are, you might do that one at a time. If they're lighter, maybe you're going to do both. Let's do 10 from here. 10, 8, 6. I'm going to shift my weight, do a little bit of balance. 4, balance going the other direction. 2, 1. Now we got to get to 0. One more for good measure. All right. And very good. All right. So if you had such a thing, it might be nice to have, they have wedges. There are wedges you can buy for going underneath your feet. You could also use a book. I'm like, do I have any? Not sure what I have actually in my space that would work. A bigger textbook, something like that, or two underneath the heels can be nice when you're working on um, lowering your squat a little bit more, playing around with that. What it's doing is helping the immobility of your ankles, though. So I suggest continuing with Pilates, keep working with the ankles. The Pilates work really, I believe, works a lot with that. So that is one option. Uh, so if our heels are up, right, whether you've got something to slide under there or you take your mats, actually, that would work for me. That would work for all of us. I've got several mats here, so if I take those, I'm definitely giving myself a little something. And you could even take more, right? And have my feet underneath me. arms out front. Or if you need that, hands at a wall, hands at the chair. And notice, does that seem a lot easier to you to have the feet up? 4, arms out front. 3, maybe it's one arm out front, one arm on a chair, your choice. 2, 1. Good. So there's another way we can work with that. I'm going to keep the something underneath my heels. I can definitely tell the difference for myself. It's a little easier. If I were up higher, I guess it would be even more to the point, maybe not too high, right? um, but as I start to try to move further and further down, what is it that we want to do? We want to take that weight forward. We want to lift the heels, right? That's automatically what happens. So let's do one more rendition like this. I'm going to keep the arms a little higher this time and kind of like a wide version of a Y, something like that. The other option that is very interesting if you have a wall is you actually turn toward the wall and you come down in your squat at the wall, and your hands just kind of give you an that feedback of where am I in space. So I'm going to keep the arms up. We're going to come down, squat, shins toward toes. Maybe you're a little wider in this than you have been, turning your toes out just a little bit. And then release. Trying to think about dropping the hips, keeping the torso a little bit more upright. You're seeing the side version of what I'm doing. I'm maybe not quite getting there. Probably coming forward quite a lot yet. I'm going to do 2 more. 2 and 1. Well, that's good for the arms. Good. All right. Let's come back to our weights. Put our book away if we found one, or straighten out your mat. All right, let's work with the triceps. I'll use the weights for that. Crisscross them if you have dumbbells, and then bring them up overhead. And we're going to drop behind and push up. Drop and push, drop and push. Pull the belly in the front, especially at the rib cage. Try not to do this work from your back, but rather let the arms do it. And if it's too awkward to keep those weights together, just hang on tight, push up. You could also take one heavier weight and use that one weight. 4, after having our arms up. 3, 2, 1. Good. Bring the arms down. Right. Now I want to work with some rows. We can work with some different muscles, which is good. I'm going to use the back muscles, right? So heavier weights, pull in at the sides, pull, pull. I think I'm going to do a few heavier ones, put both weights there. I'm lucky to have kind of bigger hands to hold the weights. Past classes, we've talked about putting all the weights you have in a um, one of those canvas bags, that the tote bags or something, and I'd put a lot of weight in there for this movement if I'm continually lifting my weights. Put all my weights in there and then lift one side at a time because my back can do it. I can do my upper back, shoulders, triceps can do this one. But this has been really good. I'm going to switch. If you're cooked, go ahead and take a break. I got to get a couple more in on that other side. Hanging on so I don't drop it. 5, 4, 3, keeping it close to my body. 2, 1. Good. So maybe you did that, the weight separately. Maybe you put them together. Nice work. All right, where are we going? I'm going to move my chair off to the side a little bit. I'm going to do a little bit of side steps. I'm going to keep my weights just because why not? I think we can do it with that. All right, I'm going to take a step to the side and we're going to squat and come back together. Step to the side, squat and back. Alternating back. So this one I really like to think about my landing and my pushing off. Landing softly, pushing off. Landing as softly as I can, pushing off. Landing, 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 push. Landing, push. Land, push. Good. Land, push. Not so much that we topple. Land, push. Land, push. Kind of having fun here. Land, push. Good. We're going to pause. I'm going to take it to the side, pause, come back. Not quite as wide. Pause, come back. Go ahead and land. Stay up nice and tall. Come up nice and tall. Come back to center. Good. Land, come up, push off with that middle foot and get a nice balance. Toes can stay right there. Come back, center. Let's see if we can get a rhythm. Land, squat, up, push with that center foot and get a little bit of a balance. Center. Let's add a squat. Center. A little squat, up, outer foot, we're going to balance. Squat, back to center. Out, squat, up, balance, squat, center. I'll get it. Down, up, outer foot, balance, squat, center. One more. Outer, squat, up, balance, center. Outer, squat, up, balance, back to squat, land softly, and center. Woo! Okay, great. All right. Then we're going to do one called the horse squat. I don't know why anything has the names it does. Maybe we'll figure that out as we go. But it's similar to what we've been doing. And it's similar to some of the sumo we've practiced before. So let's take that wide stride, turning the toes out, as we talked about earlier. The further the feet are, the more apropos it seems that we would turn the knees out as well, turn the toes out as well. All right, coming down into your sumo squat and back up, down and up and down and up and down and up. Good. Coming down, we're going to sway a little bit, sway and sway. And hold over to the side. Let the other foot toes can come up. We can get nice and long there. You can even turn your chest toward this foot a little bit. And then let's switch. Come back, pause, let that other foot come up, turning a little bit toward this foot, pausing there, and come back and come center. So it's actually coming down in your squat to one side and letting this other foot get a little light and coming up. And we're practicing really for this one-legged squat that eventually we'll work on. Probably not today. All right. So one more that we're going to do just to end on a spicy note. We're going to come down to the chair as we did earlier. If you don't have your chair, you'll just maybe you have a mirror and you can tell like how far you're going down. That's what the chair is providing for us. So we're going to come down and we're going to come up, but not all the way, and come back down, up, down, three quarters, down, down. Try it all the way up so you know what that feels like. Come all the way up to standing nice and tall. Come down, up, three quarters, down, three quarters, down, three quarters. Good. Up, down. You can go a little faster. Two, three. Next one, we're going to go all the way tall. All the way tall. Come down. Three, three quarters. Two, one. All the way down, all the way up. Two, one. Okay, three, three quarters. Two, three. All the way up, all the way down twice. Up, down, up. One more three quarters. Three of those. Three, two, one. All the way up, all the way down. Up, down, up. Woo. All right. Take your weights. You can use one or two. Come to standing. Gonna tip over to the side. Let the other shoulder, let your knees be nice and soft here. Even bending a lot. Letting those weights go down the side body. Enjoying, noticing little tugs. Maybe exploring what happens if we straighten one leg a little bit. Keep both legs bent. Let the head go. And then roll yourself back up. Bring the shoulder back into place. Shift to other side. Can feel nice to get a nice side bend here to start. Then bring the shoulder around. Soften the knees, lots of bend. Rolling down the side body. Letting the head go. Rolling yourself back up. Shoulder coming back into place. Right in the center of the body here. Rolling forward. Belly works, soft bend in the knees or lots of bend in the knees. Different than our squats, we're rounding the spine. And then coming back up. Good. Weights come down. Now, if you had like a door, I've got a door handle right here, but it's not quite close enough. If you've got a really sturdy, the TRX really works best. I guess that's the only thing I could really recommend because other ones might break. Um, but you can use something to help steady yourself downward. If you'd like to practice since you're nice and warm in your squat, like how far can I go comfortably, finding my way down, down, down. And again, a lot of times the heels want to pop up there. That's why we put stuff underneath our heels earlier. And we're going to come down to seated. All right. So let's end with a little twist here. Go ahead and bring the legs either to crisscross, or if that's not comfortable, you could also stay in the chair. We have the chair here. So seated at the chair, it's a wonderful way to twist. If I have a chair that's open like this, I'll sit on its side saddle. So I'll sit on it sideways. Um, yeah, so feet out in front, feet crisscrossed. If you've got more props in your space, my blanket isn't here, but I sometimes would sit on a blanket just to sit up a little bit. So let's go ahead. We're going to turn to our right first, which is toward your liver. So your liver takes up a lot of the right side of the abdomen. So I'm going to turn to my left, but it'll be your right. And let's take that hand behind us and take the other arm across to the opposite knee. and keeping everything in the lower body steady, whether I'm on the chair or I'm seated here. I'm going to keep everything steady there and let the twist happen way up here, middle of the spine and upward. Pull the belly in ever so slightly. Use your belly just a little bit to tug against this movement to your right. You're going to pull with your belly to the left. Couple of breaths. Come back to center. Relax the legs if you need to. So one way when you're sitting, if you notice, you're going to want to get on the other side with the back of the chair there is really nice to kind of hang on to and twist toward. But noticing, you can notice if your knees shift, then you're moving your lower body. All right, let's take it to the other side. One hand behind, the other hand comes across. Notice how you've already twisted the upper body. We don't have to strain or push harder to get into a twist. We're here. Take a breath. Relax your face. Maybe you can twist gently into the twist a little bit more. Notice if your legs are really turned on or if they're really moving with you, like if they're trying to move so that you can go a little further. And resist that. Let the legs stay right where they were. Let the belly pull in the opposite direction. See if you can take in a deeper breath. Come back to center. Good. Let's go ahead and take the arms up. I'm going to let my knees come up. If I'm in the chair, this works just fine. The knees are bent already. You're going to still take your arms up. And take a nice straight spine forward toward your thighs to start. And I'll turn to the side. Nice straight spine. I'm going to stay nice and tall as long as I can. Take those legs out just a little. As long as I can as I come toward the spine, toward the thighs. But very soon, we really, all of us, start to round in our low back. So right here, I'm nice and tall. That's about as far as I can get. And then I'm going to start to round and drop toward the legs. Let the hands come down. Let the body come forward as much as it will. Let's take a few breaths here. If there's a lot of space between your thighs and your belly, pull your belly in just a little bit, not to create tension, but just a little bit of tone to the belly and take that breath in nice and deeply. Take that breath in nice and deeply. Full exhale. One more. And exhale. Good. And coming up. All right. Pilates and strength and just a little bit of yoga and breathing. Have a great day, everybody. Let me know how this class goes for you, how it goes to work with the squats in different ways. We still have more ground to cover. Like I said, maybe there'll be a part two. But I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or evening. Thank you.